Well, Shaman is in Lothar's arsenal here. We see Hunters banned on both sides, and then Warrior Druid with Mage and Shaman available for Lothar, and Warlock and Priest available for StrifeCro.
Yeah, it looks like a Secrets Mage here for Lothar, and I gotta say, I'm really surprised that StrifeCro isn't playing Shaman. I thought 100% he'll be bringing a Shaman today.
Yeah, and he does seem to favor the Priest. He brought that to the BlizzCon qualifiers, and you know, StrifeCro, he's been playing a lot. He's been practicing. He's, again, top legend from what I was being able to see him on ladder. So the guy's trying really hard, and you know what? This is why he's really damn good. He got wild growth in his opening hand.
Yeah.
Strong play, strong play.
What stands out to me is there was this rotation in Fast Druid. They cut the Haunted Creepers for Echoing Ooze. I think it was actually StrifeCro who invented that. Like, he removed the Haunted Creeper for Power of the Wild and Echoing Ooze, but now he's going back to Haunted Creeper, so that's interesting to me.
Yeah, and he also experimented a lot with like Zombie Chow, and it was just very interesting his take on it. And it was funny too because he was the one who first introduced that to Kalento, who then got #1 legend, and then everyone's like, "Oh, that's Kalento's Druid deck." No, it's StrifeCro's
Every single Druid deck that you have ever seen, except for that abomination that Gara won DreamHack with, is a StrifeCro Druid deck. That's a fact.
That is true. There's not many people who are on the cutting edge of Druid compared to StrifeCro. One of them also is Dog. Dog has also been trying to innovate ramp as much as he can, and he'd be playing on the second stream again.
By the way, look at this hand. He's got too many secrets here, I would say.
I think that Mage deck in general is crazy. Like, what are we seeing here? He has an aggro Mage with Sylvanas. That is new.
Well, the nice thing right here is that he can protect his Mana Worm and start putting damage. It depends on how he wants to do, whether it's against a minion or against a spell.
You know, I like this play because we saw him go into the wild growth, so you'd expect something good to come out, but I think a Haunted Creeper is going to come out. He's going to feel real sad about this Mirror Entity. Oh, that's not what you want, a Mirror Entity.
Well, it's interesting that he developed Mirror Entity first, compared to like a traditional removal, like Wrath on the Mana Worm. What do you think about that?
It was a good play because he used the Wild Growth. It's very unlikely that you play a Haunted Creeper with 4 mana after you use the Wild Growth with 4. Yeah, it's...
That's true, that's true.
Yeah, it was actually kind of like bad luck for StrifeCro turned into good luck for StrifeCro in a certain manner.
He expected like a Yeti, for example, to come out there.
Yeah. And that's exactly the type of minion I would expect from StrifeCro on 4 mana from a Druid deck.
Yeah.
And yeah, as I mentioned earlier, he didn't play Haunted Creeper like in his Fast Druid deck for a long time.
Well, whatever StrifeCro does, the world will eventually follow. So.
Ah, wow, what another awkward turn.
Yeah, that is actually a really awkward turn. You can't play the Duplicate because you will proc the Spiderling.
Yeah. Like, do you put out the Mad Scientist or you just throw down Counterspell?
You have to use the Mad Scientist.
Yeah.
Yeah, the tempo you can gain from Mad Scientist is just insane. And then you could, I mean, if you drop the Mad Scientist, though, you're pushing for damage. You're not spending time like killing all of these spiders.
No, the spiders are going to have to just be left. Well,
but then you're floating a mana, and the next turn you only have Fireball. Like compared to if you had Mad Scientist and Ping, it just
this is just a crappy opening for Lothar, unfortunately.
The problem is he doesn't have follow-up play either to this Mad Scientist unless he wants to just directly remove. But then if Lothar or the Spectrum that comes down, Fireball is useless.
Yeah, that's very true. His next turn is not going to look good. I think it's going to be a Ping Pass type of turn. Like.
Interesting. If he decided to ignore the Haunted Creeper, I would have played Duplicate. Because if he kills the Spider, you get at least 2 Haunted Creeper for next turn, which would be a good turn 4 play. He doesn't have a turn 4 play
That's
yet.
an interesting thought.
Oh, okay.
I didn't consider that. And you do use your mana a little bit more effectively for next turn. You can add Scientist and Haunted Creeper.
Thing is, I mean, I haven't actually played the Secrets Mage as much as I should have so far, but I would not really want like just a board full of Haunted Creepers, you know? It's,
okay.
Like, I think it's maybe a little bit greedy to play like that, but I think he just wants something a little bit better than what he's got out there at the moment.
All right, well, let's see if he can do anything off of this draw.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
God! It just keeps happening. Oh.
I think.
Would you consider fireballing to the face to take out the 4/6? Like, pump
so you
the
can
nail.
get, yeah,
Oh, I
the
guess you
Nanoworm
could just
damage.
like drop the counter spell or something instead.
I think, yeah, Counterspell and Undertaker is not too bad. Like, he's already at 23 life, he has the Fireball in hand. If he draws one more spell, like a Frostbolt, he's very close to lethal.
Yeah, that wouldn't seem too bad. This Nanoworm surprisingly has, done a lot of damage. 3/3 plus the one at the beginning at 7, and then if it attacks one more turn, it's a Pyroblast.
Yeah.
That's pretty sick for 1 mana, actually.
And
God.
That's Undertaker status, dude.
And if he...
Whoa. Now you're speaking my language. Now I understand. That's broken.
Every 1-drop aspires to be that.
Yeah.
Their goal when they grow up and go to college is to be an Undertaker.
It's time to bring back Light Warden, guys.
Oh man, I remember Trump trying to convince me in Skype, way early in the beta, how Light Warden was like a godly 1-drop.
I think I used it at BlizzCon, actually.
Did you in your priest?
I think I did.
I mean,
It's a pretty funny card if you drop it on turn 1.
I mean, you also had some pretty good ideas in that deck too, with Injured Blade Mass and Circle of Healing. But I mean, those were some dark times.
Those were dark times, no doubt. All right, so he does opt to clear that out, the Spectral Knight.
What is interesting to me, Lothar didn't check his secret, like the secret he got from the mad scientist, which means he knows exactly what it is.
Mirror Entity?
Yeah, it has to be. His plan is to get the Hounded Creeper and then double buff the Undertaker.
Oh, okay, so that means
Nice.
that's
I
like
like
2
that.
mirror entities, a duplicate, and
Right.
a
And then for 5 mana,
counterspell.
for 5 mana, you get 3/4 and 2 sticky mini Harvest Golems.
Yeah,
Pretty decent.
yeah. Oh, he checked.
Oh,
Counterspell.
It is a
and-
mirror entity. No, so
Yeah.
no duplicate. So
Okay. Well, Mirror Entity
Maybe he
still
just-
makes it hard for his opponent because no matter what, StrifeCro would be giving a reasonably powerful minion.
Maybe he forgot or just checked it real quick, or he could be feeling some pressure.
man. But
It's
it,
like poker, you check your cards. real
it
quick.
looks really, really bad for StrifeCro because he has only big minions. Like he will get really crazy value. Oh my god.
Oh,
Oh my
Cairn
god.
Gets dropped
Oh,
down, and that is a value Mirror Entity.
Wow.
That is crazy. And he basically got it for free because he got the mirror entity from the
Mad
mad
Scientist,
scientist.
yeah.
That's insane.
12 damage on top of the
Jeez.
5. That's 17.
It didn't start out well for Lothar, but maybe it'll end well here.
I think so. I mean,
that's he can do 11 here, and then probably 11 next turn, to be honest, because both those minions are so sticky.
right.
And he has the counter spell. How can you remove it as a druid? I would just
You
go
can,
face.
yeah, just go face and fireball him. I would even drop the Undertaker just to have
Yeah.
that extra point out there. Like, he is just so close to killing him off because he can fireball and ping next turn, so that's like another 7. So he just needs to leave 4 damage
Right.
somehow on the board, which I don't think is hard at all.
And if the board
With a counterspell there, yeah, I think he's just gonna kill him.
If
Yeah.
the board gets out of control as well, he has Sylvanas as a backup option, which can affect the state of the board again.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, say his opponent drops Keep It the Grove on this Cairn to silence it, then you follow up with Sylvanas.
He would still win if he drops Undertaker, right? No, wait, he'd be 1 damage off. Okay.
But the thing is, like, the alternative play is really bad. Like, he can drop duplicate and pink face.
Yeah.
But that is just...
I think he's just counting out. I really think he's going to go for the fireball here, and
Yeah.
again, I really feel like he should drop the Undertaker. No,
Oh,
whoa!
oh, man. I don't like that so
Why
much.
is he battling for board when he has that much damage?
I don't know.
We've actually seen this a pretty large amount so far in this tournament, where people are
It's like super
just
safe.
battling for the board. Yeah, they're being
Yeah.
too safe. You got to play to win sometimes.
Is he? There's no. I was like, he's not telegraphing his duplicate, right? Because Manaworm died already.
Yeah.
Okay. Because I was like wondering if he's trying to send information with this, but because normally by traditional thought, you're like, well, I want him to use hero power to instead of dropping something on turn 7, but StrifeCro's gonna just instead pick up value on the spider rather than kill off the first body of Cairn with that.
The way how I would have played the game is when he had the counterspell plus mana worm out, I would have went for face that turn already. Like, and he drew the fireball now, so the druid would be dead this
Okay.
turn.
Yeah, yeah.
So StrifeCro tested for duplicate again just to make sure, and then he also just kept
Well,
his body alive.
he has so many secrets in this deck.
Yeah, this I think he has 6 secrets in here,
That's
probably.
Yeah. That's
That is
insane.
quite a few.
Well,
Yeah, I'm feeling a bit bad here. It felt like Lothar was in a completely unlosable position the turn before until he decided to just
mean,
clear. And
imagine if he did face damage with those minions. StrifeCro would be at 14 health. Right, or 15 health rather. And then
well,
he'd be attacking into the
he
face.
could have fireballed as well, so he'd be.
Oh, you're right.
He would have been at 11 this turn.
Man.
And the thing is, he did damage to his own Karn, which allowed it to be picked off more easily. Like,
I don't know.
I mean, he would have straight up won, like, no matter what, if he had just gone completely to face, like, just switched up gears completely.
He had to be playing around something though, like when he did that play. Because I mean, Lothar is a guy that we were talking about yesterday.
Yeah.
He's a classic overthinker. He's a guy who like tries to consider a lot of permutations. I asked him one time, like, what are you playing around? He's like, I'm playing around these like 5-card combination. I'm like, dude, you have to. You only had 4 cards in hand. It's like, well, he could have top decked it. It's like,
it's sometimes too much.
For example, in this situation, he baited out the silence with Cairn because he has the Sylvanas in hand. Like, so he doesn't have a silence for his Sylvanas, but it's like overthinking. He could have just ended the game with Great Face.
Right. Yeah. Like, especially with the counterspell out on 28 health, he was never going to die to anything. Like, not for multiple turns. Like, his opponent has to find a way to stay alive and get rid of the counterspell and then start to get lethal. And it's... Ooh, if he loses this... The thing is, he's not in a bad spot still. Like, his opponent's at 16. He's got a fireball in hand. He's got a good amount of damage on the board. A counterspell up.
2 counterspell, like 1 on board and 1 in hand.
There is one thing to consider is that StrifeCro, if he does have combo, and then if he has like Lothar to disrupt the turn for finishers for Mage, there might be an opportunity where he can strike back. But it's still difficult to pair because it looks like Lothar has really good pressure on the board and backup because he can deny something with counterspell.
Well, he goes ahead and decides to throw down this Lothar here.
I like the play. Like, it really ruins Lothar's next turn. He has only spells in his hand.
And he can't play any of them. They're going to cost 8 or more.
Oh, yeah. And he really denies the Sylvanas.
Oh,
it's a really good play.
That's convenient.
Yeah, that's a good draw.
Oh, yeah. Oh, my God.
You can circumvent.
Now, does that card reads for free, right? I've never actually.
It just says your next spell that you play this turn costs 0.
Yeah, the next secret. Okay.
Imagine it's bugged. I've not seen this situation.
Yeah, I haven't either.
Oh, that would completely stink. Like it costs what, like 5 mana instead of 0? Oh man.
That would be. I don't even know what we would do there, because that would obviously not be what Kirin Tor is supposed to do, right? Like
that's what happened with Ragnaros and Kel'Thuzad the first week.
Priority.
And that kind of messed things up. I remember.
I mean, I think it. You're right though. Like when you first saw it, Artosis, it's supposed to stack.
Oh, it's okay.
I was like, why can't you play counterspells? Because it's already in play.
Oh.
But it does interact like that because if you play Millhouse first and then Lothar, all their spells cost 5, no matter what.
Lothar first and then Millhouse.
No, Millhouse and then... No, you don't want to do that. You want to do Millhouse first and Lothar. Because then Millhouse gives them all the...
Yeah. Okay,
everyone was saying like that was the dream combination.
That's sweet. That's a sweet combo.
Yeah, people were trying it in Zoo when it first came out, and they're like, no, I think I'll just play Ruby and Egg and Void Terror and Power Wheel instead.
Better choices.
Screw that.
Now, okay, I actually missed that. I was looking at... So he
went for
face.
face. Yeah.
Okay,
and he has 2 targets with duplicate, can get pretty good responses. And
yeah, both those are really solid.
Duplicate on Sylvanas.
It's going to be a really sweet duplicate.
Yeah. Because now he plays counterspell for free, and then he can protect it. Now, StrifeCro does clear the board, which is very important for him. And he knows this is counterspell, by the way. He's tested for every other possibility, so he can safely drop
He did not test for Spellbender.
But he has so many expensive
spells. That is true.
Oh, I like that play. Like, it's his cheapest spell in his hand. And he has to proc it at some point, right?
Yeah. And it allows him to play another minion, whereas, he'd rather have the combo in hand than 2 force, but you got to get a minion out there. That's StrifeCro for you.
But this is really powerful still.
Yeah. This is still a great play.
Oh, man. Would you fireball this one?
I wouldn't be upset of just putting out minions.
Yeah.
Because Black Knight can only attack once.
Yeah. I liked it more,
And with the counterspell, it's actually kind of hard to clear all this. I guess he goes up to 10 mana, so he can definitely end up clearing everything, though.
The swipe in Force of Nature, though.
Oh, and he got the heal, which is very important. StrifeCro might come back into this now.
Yeah. Which is, again, a little bit painful because Lothar kind of through the game a little bit by not just going complete to face with 2 fireballs in hand.
He gave an opening to StrifeCro because now, even if Counterspell activates, I mean, you just choose whatever spell and they still fully remove the board.
Oh, man.
No, I think
The swipe still lets him
Yeah.
clear the whole
the
thing.
consequence is about the same. The Force of Nature clears in the same way Swipe would. You attack
Yeah.
2 minions to a Kirin and
Oh,
one
In fact,
to
the
a
swipe
one.
is better because you do 1 damage to your opponent.
Ah, I like that. That's
Oh,
a good
yeah.
point. Very
That's
good
a
point.
very good point. Oh, man. I believe that Artosis is the favorite in this group. The pro
Well, you're on
inside.
your A game, man.
Oh, yeah. I'm getting ready right
Whatever
now.
you were drinking this morning, keep it up.
It's coffee.
Good stuff. Well, Water Elemental, it can be problematic. It's very difficult for Druid to remove it easily.
And he's got 9 damage in hand here, plus the 2 from a ping, the 1 from a ping. So that's 10 plus 3. That's 13. If he doesn't heal up with this Ancient Allure or remove the Water Elemental, which is very unlikely, that can be death.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. It is Ancient of Lore unless he cycles into something better with Wild Growth.
Now, if StrifeCro did a fantastic job following the cards in Lothar's hand, I don't personally do this, but when I commentate, I notice it, of course.
When you see the cards and perfect information.
The Fireball has been there for so long
Oh, yeah.
that if I'm StrifeCro, I'm like, that is not a Fireball, because he could have killed me already if he had just gone face, right? So Lothar's misplay may, in fact, make his
my
opponent
God.
misplay.
Lothar needs 1 damage. Not 2
So
damage.
StrifeCro is opting to maintain the Ancient of Lore, so that way, if his opponent just passes, he gets initiative and heal.
If he gets a Frostbolt, okay.
Interesting.
Oh, man.
Right, if it was an Ice Lance. But then the problem persists. You give Mage the clean board, and he just picked up a decent-sized minion.
Yeah.
Trouble.
He might draw off Ancient of Lore here, and that is game if he does.
Yeah, if he draws off Ancient of Lore, there's no... And unless he's playing Healing Touch.
Or Sun Fury
But-
Protector.
I think StrifeCro is a really advanced mage player. It's his favorite deck, he says, and he's keeping track of Firebolts and Frostbolts, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, but I mean, if you track the card in hand, right, you don't think that's a Fireball? Because that was actually there for so long that it was in hand when the other Fireball was played.
Yeah, what else could it be?
It's hard, though. When
I don't know. That's
when you're
the
paying
thing.
attention to, secrets, and especially because when Kirin comes down, card gets played so fast instantaneously that almost you can't tell what position it was played from.
Yeah, that's true.
So it's very difficult to recognize and keep track of cards, especially against Secrets Mage.
Agreed. I'm going to use that as my excuse when I don't track anything.
There you go. You can keep that one.
I don't know. He could have anything in his hand right now. He could have the combo. No, Artis, you already used both combos on you. I'm like, oh, crap.
I mean, StrifeCro has used 3 pieces of his combo already. That's
Oh,
one thing
man.
outside of
Oh, man.
Thor's mind.
Looks like it's gonna be game.
Yeah. He keeps Ancient of Lore for versatility, but that's not the right choice. Lothar's going to take game 1.
Yeah, and that's pretty awesome for him.
Now, how does he do it?
No BM.
Wow.
Okay.
Wow.
Very respectful.
How was it respectful? Oh, he didn't
Yeah,
ping.
he didn't ping or drop Mana Worm.
Yeah, he should have done
High
both.
proficiency.
I think he'll be playing Handlock. I don't know. There's
It
a
makes
certain
sense.
style from StrifeCro that I feel like we see over and over, but we'll see.
Especially if he's playing a faster Druid and he's already playing Hunter. I mean, is he going to really play a third faster deck with Zoo?
I haven't seen StrifeCro play Priest, personally.
You didn't see the NA BlizzCon qualifiers where he had this ridiculous match where he should have lost against Stunner?
I was in the plane from China to Europe.
Okay. He StrifeCro should have lost that game. It was it was 2 health effectively to 28 health Priest versus Priest, and he somehow won the game.
Wow.
Barely. And of course the game went to fatigue. That's what Priest did. So it is Warrior, and it is a anti-aggro Warrior. You see Whirlwind and Unstable Ghoul.
Yeah. And, something like Whirlwind is just perfect for proc and then counter spells.
In his hand.
He got Swagnerus.
All right. We'll see how this one goes for StrifeCro, if he can actually pull this back. If he loses here, though, that's going to be really rough.
Oh, yeah.
Then he's going to have to go up against the Titan of either Sake or myself to stay in the group.
I think StrifeCro is the underdog against Artosis, but...
Clearly. But,
well, what an awkward hand
Oh,
from StrifeCro.
One interesting thing to point out, he's playing Whirlwinds. Most people cut Whirlwinds for the Unstable Ghouls.
Right.
And he's
Or
playing
vice
both.
versa.
yeah, it seems like it is more anti-aggro. He might just be playing one Whirlwind. We've seen a lot of that when people play Whirlwind still. So.
Yeah, and I wonder what else he's cutting. Whether it's like his mid or late game, because we saw some Warriors at this tournament playing Ysera, and of course that's one of the first added or cut from Warrior lists.
Yeah, that's for sure. Cleave is another one that we see like moved in and out of Warrior quite often. So
it tells me that he's also anticipating Zoo in this tournament, because Whirlwind and stuff is like what you need to effectively take out Zoo.
Oh, another thing is like...
we've definitely seen a couple, so...
And Hunters too as well.
He saw the Sludge Belcher being played last game. So he knows he will get value from the Black Knight, so he will not just play it as a 6-drop. And Lothar doesn't know that he plays Black Knight, so that might be like a game changer later on.
Definitely could be.
Lothar's also had 2 relatively slow starts. Like, he had 3 secrets in his opening hand last game, and now he has just Loot Hoarder, Harvest Golem, and then Polymorph.
This is actually, it's really funny because you say like he had some slow starts, which is like kind of true. But he plays it slow too, right? Like he doesn't switch up and go to face. He wants to control the board. That's his style. And
I guess he likes it then.
Like even last game, even though he had a quote-unquote slow start, he had a very early lethal he could have gone to. The Mana Worm ended up in a spot where it could have done 10 damage for 1 mana. I think he's fine with a slow start like this. I think the way he's going to play this deck, no matter what happens, is going to be kind of slow.
Yeah, and I think you're bringing up a good point. It's more mid-rangey than anything else, and of course, Gar was saying he plays it much faster.
Yeah, he plays Polywolf, for example. Like he really is not afraid to go into late game.
It's so reminiscent of Hasawab's deck more than Gar's deck, even though we've seen 2 or 3 players now play Secret Mage.
Yeah, I've not seen like Harvest Golem in Mage, like ever. You have so many options. Usually, as Mage.
What's your 3 mana option to buff Undertaker?
You usually don't play it. You play the Kirintor Mage as a free drop. It's like you have all those secrets. He plays 6 secrets, which cost 3 mana, and then he plays Harvest Golems, and he plays the Kirintor Mage. He has like 10 free mana.
Yeah, you're right. Actually, he does.
It's crazy.
So I guess he has no 1-drops then that buff Undertaker.
No, I don't think so. Like the Harvest Golem is really the only neutral that people use with Death Rattle. Does anything else at 1 even have a Death Rattle neutral?
Like Leopard Gnomes.
Yeah, just other than that.
Zombie Chows.
Oh yeah, Zombie Chows.
Like Zombie Chow.
But that would be counterproductive.
Yeah, it's like, well, I'm gonna fireball you after I heal you for 5.
Yeah, 5 mana.
So then, by the way, StrifeCro developed Deathbite, a very important card against basically anything in the hand that's playable next turn for Lothar. It's like frustrating because then the Sludge Belcher or the Lothar will die.
Kind of a weak turn here for him as well.
True.
This might be an armor pass, in fact.
Well, Shield Slam's okay. It is a faster deck than he's playing, so Shield. It's not like you're trying to save this for big control. I'm not sure if he's expecting Ragnaros though.
Well, he Shield Slammed the Undertaker. Very interesting.
Yeah, I personally wouldn't have, but I'm not surprised that like he wants that to just get out of there. You know, you play Sludge Belcher, suddenly it's a 2/3, and then I mean when you hit Sludge Belcher, it's still a 2/2 behind that. So, like I understand it. It's very StrifeCro to do.
There it comes the Black Knight value.
Yeah. Well, he gets a second Shield Slam, so that's also good for him down the road too. Especially considering there might be a case he needs to use it on another minion like Lothar in the following turns.
Oh.
Would you Lothar here? Like, he can't Black Knight because he used his coin for Deathspite.
His alternative is
nothing. I mean, it feels like Lothar is it, right?
The alternative is to attack and then armor up Shield Slam, the 1/2.
Oh, that's terrible, though.
Yeah,
it's so bad.
It sucks because also the weapon would kill the Sludge Belcher here. You kind of have to, and then kill the slime with the Black Knight, which kind of sucks a little bit.
I also like saving the Death Rattle charge or the last charge of the Deathbite because you have the ability to do some good stuff with Whirlwind too to clear out the smaller minions in the following turn, and then Lothar already challenges the 3/5 body.
Yeah, coming out this turn though for Lothar, I feel like we're just going to see the Lothar as well, but there's no like super good clean there. Like I guess you can use your weapon to kill the 1/2, or no, you'd use I guess the Lothar to kill the 1/2 after the Black Knight kills the big guy, and then you can weapon the Lothar. So that would actually be really nice. That would leave him with a really strong board, like a 4/4 and a 5/4 against nothing.
Yeah, and I mean, that's assuming your opponent can't respond. You're coming up on turns where you're not sure what Mage has. Like, does he have Flame Strike, for example? It's coming up on turn 7.
Very true.
Does he have, other weird cards that you're not expecting, like Ragnaros?
I don't know why he's holding the lower tab. Like, there has to be like some
Yeah.
plan.
I wonder if it's like an attempt.
I thought for sure he'd be playing Lothar that turn.
Me too.
I wonder if it's like a way to secure the board, similar to like, I don't want you to brawl this turn because I have too many minions at stake.
It's gonna be a really sick turn for StrifeCro.
He is playing Ysera. He's playing heavy end and the early end. So is he like?
Well, the Whirlwind is like I bet you he does not play Cleave. I bet you he doesn't play Cleave. Yeah, he might have cut a Silence. That's definitely possible.
Maybe, yeah. But then
maybe Taskmaster.
That's also a possibility as well.
I'd be surprised if he wasn't playing Taskmaster.
Yeah,
I just love that card.
A lot of players were divided on that. In fact, like I talked to Tides. About a few weeks ago, and he was like, "No, I don't like playing Taskmaster." And he's like one of the top warrior players in the world.
Yeah, he's definitely one of the best players out there. I'm actually very surprised to hear that because I feel like that's such a good card. But
he still plays it from time to time. But it's like a card where it's like, yeah, I'm not opposed to taking it out whatsoever.
Huh? Interesting.
So it's gonna clear that.
This sets up for Lothar to die to a ping plus the 2/2, unfortunately, but I think you got to do it anyways.
I mean, he's coming up on turns where he's got some big minions. I think all he worries about is the state of the board at the moment.
Yeah.
Like if Ysera can safely come down at a reasonable health count, what are you afraid of?
Yeah, he's got to be careful too. Like I mean, if something like Ysera gets Mirror Entity, you're just going to lose the game.
Oh my god.
It's about as crazy as it can get.
Oh man. But I think Lothar is in a good spot. If he has no answer for the Ragnaros, because if he plays Sylvanas, it will get cheaped. It's going to be very interesting to... Oh, and his duplicate as well.
Oh man. Well, now holding that Lothar looks pretty brilliant, guys.
Yeah. I would play it. I would play the Lothar.
Lothar all day, every day right now. That is like... I mean, you give me 2 Lothars back, I'm fine with that, yeah. Oh, you're not going to play any more spells this game. Sorry, bro.
It's just 2 additional ways to find a way to checkmate your opponent. They can't play like Brawl in the next couple turns, or Brawl will cost your entire turn. They can't play anything else.
You could literally have 3 turns in a row where your opponent can't play spells.
Right.
Oh man, I would definitely play the Lothar.
Yeah.
I mean, how can
he might be really greedy
and
go for Rag.
Tempted by the Ragnaros.
Oh, that's so greedy.
That's so greedy.
That's so greedy. No. Come on.
I mean, look, he's
okay.
Lothar.
Lothar was like, all right, I guess if I have to. He knew the Lothar was the right play.
Yeah,
you can't do it. But
that was just I see his brain wanting to do it. It's like, well, this would be way more fun.
Oh, I
right?
mean, it's the flashy play.
Yeah. 3 rags.
The realistic thing too is if you have 3 rags in hand, you often don't get the chance to play all of them throughout the rest of the game.
Yeah, I mean that's definitely a possibility.
I've been in those scenarios too, like because I played Hype's Mage, and then one time like he threw in Ragnaros because he wasn't playing Archmage by then. He was like playing Ragnaros as an experiment, and so I got 3 rags in the game. I just never had a chance to play all 3.
Yeah.
But then again, that mage was so passive and defensive that you often get ice block popped. So it's like.
Oh man, what do you do as StrifeCro? 6 mana Whirlwind? That hurts.
Yeah, it does. Well, right. There's a secret out here, so. Do you drop the Armor Smith and see if it's a mirror entity? Like, you've got to be really careful.
You have to reevaluate after every turn. No mirror entity.
All right, and just armor up. Okay. I think that's totally fine line of play there.
Oh man, if he hits that Black Knight with Ragnaros.
That would be pretty awesome.
For Lothar.
Yeah, if he plays Rag and just removes something with Lothar, it's a pretty darn good play.
Oh man.
Oh boy.
He wants it.
God.
This is a decisive moment, because then he can firmly seize control of the board and hits the 4/4.
Oh, nom.
Wow. Well, that's a good board there, and let's not forget he has Duplicate right now.
No.
This is like...
He's fine with whatever he gets. Oh, he has his own Rag, but then he gets 2 Rags if he hits Rag.
I suppose...
Wow.
And then he can snipe back.
Would you... Oh my god, this is so gross.
Ragnaros
And he's
Force.
1 mana off. And wait, no, you know what he could do? I mean, he can, like, God, he'd have to use Whirlwind and Shield Slam to
But he will
kill this
Sylvanas.
5/4, but
Oh, you're talking about killing your own Sylvanas?
yeah, I mean, he could do that, but I don't like that.
Yeah,
That's
he has to
okay.
play the Sylvanas. I saw it coming.
Right.
Yeah.
But then the polymorph here
Yeah,
is
exactly.
exactly what Gara was foreshadowing turns
yeah.
ago.
And he will still have the duplicate. Like, it's
so gross.
Yeah.
This is so
Just
gross.
push.
He is just slaying StrifeCro
Like,
right now.
Undertaker doesn't have to do
I
anything.
would
here.
Frostbolt face so he can't even use weapon next turn. So he has absolutely nothing.
Well, the thing is, even if he used a weapon, I'd be like, oh, now I get more Lothebs. Now I really win. You think I was winning before when I had more damage on board? No, it's now.
Oh, man. There's no execute.
In fact, we might
StrifeCro.
see that. Like, oh my God. No, I don't. StrifeCro's just dead. He has to play Rag.
Yeah, he has to rag and snipe rag, and then
Like, his opponent has to rag, and then...
hits rag, or
No.
he's dead.
If StrifeCro plays Ragnaros and snipes Lothar, and Lothar just plays Ragnaros and ping, it's 50-50 to snipe Rag or win the game.
Yeah.
So in this position,
Yeah, so
Rag
StrifeCro.
won't do anything.
StrifeCro's just dead. Like, I could see him
Can he-
actually playing Gromosh and Whirlwind to get rid of Rag. Like, this situation is that bad.
Yeah.
Oh, he hasn't tested for Counterspell yet, has
No,
he?
he has not.
Oh man,
God.
I mean,
he's gonna Whirlwind first to check.
if he
The
uses...
thing is, if he plays this and goes Whirlwind and it gets counterspelled, he's like, oh, like just nothing works out. I guess he could remove the 5/4, so that's good.
well, now he knows his duplicate.
Yeah, and now he knows he's dead.
Yep.
There's just no way out of this from here.
Because he will just replay lower tap, so he can't just like execute even if he draws it.
I guess does he use
He
Gromosh
has to
remove?
Rag.
He's
and
using Rag,
it
but
doesn't even matter what Rag hits, he loses.
Oh man,
oh, it hits the face.
that's like the
God.
worst. The worst.
All right, so then I suppose you just set it up then. The 50-50 to win the game. And worst case scenario in quotation marks, you kill off his Rag and you have a dominant position still.
Yeah.
Mirror entity on top of everything, just
Yep.
to.
Well, Mirror Entity with the hidden information that it could be Counterspell, so StrifeCro's still going to play careful, but it won't matter.
Wow.
Lothar's up 2-0, and as at the same.
So we'll see what he goes for, what he thinks is going to be best in this situation.
So if it's Zoo, how does Zoo fare against Mage?
Oh, Zoo should crush it.
Okay, so then if StrifeCro has Zoo, then he can go with that. But if he has Handlock,
Oh, he goes for the
Handlock.
it's a little bit tougher because of that reach damage we were talking about.
yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, the counter spells will really come into play when you want to Shadow Flame a board or something.
Yeah, yeah.
You don't have so many cheap spells, and a lot of people cut Mortal Coils as well now. So
Yeah.
you just have not a cheap spell to proc it.
Interesting. StrifeCro is thinking about keeping Ancient Watcher so he can be slightly more aggressive and tossing away the Mountain Giant.
Well, I think he's afraid of playing Mountain Giant into a Mirror Entity.
No, that's the big mess up.
Because,
there.
like, I think as Lothar here, you just kind of guess which one they're playing, and then you just mulligan for that. And it looks like he's playing for Zoo. He's trying to prepare for the worst matchup that it could be.
True.
Because otherwise, I think you would really consider keeping the counterspell, as weird as that sounds. I don't think I'd keep that against anything else in the whole world.
Sure. Well,
So he plays Mortal Coil, so that's at least something that's going for StrifeCro. Because the counterspell will come out.
Yeah, the slow hand here to start from Lothar, unfortunately.
Again.
I
Yeah.
mean, is he? Is he okay with that at this point? Like, he's gotten slow starts 2 games in a
Yeah.
row. Maybe that's what he wants, or he doesn't care about it.
It's funny because the way he plays and the way his deck has drawn every game, I'm like, what? I mean, Undertaker's a great card, but do you really need this in this deck?
Well, yeah, it feels like on the off chance that Undertaker snowballs, he wins, but then it's not like his main game plan. It's like it's a secondary win condition, similar to like Gara used to play just like one Yeti in his Ramp Druid, just on the off chance he can innervate it out on turn 1. But then everything then it's not like he wants to do that every single game. It's like, oh, I happen to get it.
Yeah.
I can't believe you remember that.
Of course I do. I watch our Temple Storm videos. You think I don't?
Well, he's got 2 fireballs in hand already.
What kind of
so
manager
I'd
would
say
I
that's good.
be?
Oh man, but his hand kinda sucks a little bit. It's good for
Yeah.
later on, but for now,
Yeah, like polymorph to deal with any giant that gets by, a counter spell to screw your opponent up, and 2 fireballs for the finisher. Like, It's all late game stuff,
Yeah.
unfortunately.
Yeah.
But
And it's also, it looks more like an arena deck at the moment.
Yeah.
It's like you're stuck with too many mana cards. Like, oh, these are good value cards.
Yeah.
But how do I play them all?
it's going to draw 3 flame strikes in a row now.
At least the coin does help because it
Yeah.
smooths out a little bit. Just a little, though.
Well, looks like he's going to start pinging away on this
Yeah.
guy.
Just 4 more turns.
Yeah. It's not so bad. Got to prevent that damage from Undertaker.
I mean, every point of damage does matter when you feel like your opponent's the aggressor. I mean, StrifeCro is willing to toss away his normal game plan. Like, he threw Mountain Giant away, which is usually what you want in your opening hand as handlock.
Oh man, this hand. Like if he draws another Frostbolt.
Yeah. I think that StrifeCro's hand is completely fine, though. Like,
Yeah.
He's, especially with how slow the hand of Lothar is. Like, he's got the Mortal Coil to proc a counter spell. You know, he's got just a decent minion in hand, and he's got a good removal spell for later on against some of these bigger guys.
I think I would Frostbolt the Time Fury
C3.
Protector, because he's stuck with so many removal cards in his hand.
Okay.
Like, and he would protect the Undertaker. Now he can kill the Undertaker for free, and the Water Elemental can still not attack into the Watcher if he doesn't fireball the Watcher. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know, man.
Okay, I totally, actually, now that you've explained that, I agree. But actually, if I were to play that turn, I would have done the same thing as
Yeah.
Lothar and coined this guy out. Because I feel like the Undertaker here is just like a dead card. How many Death Rattle guys does he play? He plays Harvest Golem, plays Loot
Mad
Hoarder,
Scientist.
right? Mad Scientist, and maybe Thalnos?
Sludge Belcher.
Okay,
It's
actually,
got like
he does
a
have a lot,
decent amount of
yeah.
death rattles. It's not as heavy as you see like with leopard gnomes and haunted creepers.
Web spinners.
God, well, thank God that's banned.
Oh, another.
All right. Well,
Yeah.
it's something to do.
Yes, he still has to
Yeah.
use the removals.
Well, like after, because you don't expect Spiral Elemental to always survive, so it gives him something else to do other than just hold cards and. Like, if you play Counterspell with nothing to protect, that's actually not that productive whatsoever.
No, I guess not.
Like, if you just Counterspell Ping
fact-
next turn, it was like, well, that sucks.
Yeah. Not the most exciting turn here for StrifeCro. Probably just going to be that Sludge Belcher. Would you Soulfire this 3/4? Is it worthwhile?
What can you lose in your hand?
Actually, if you Soulfire it, the mage is forced to remove it with spells, and that's really good. Like, if he can bait out a Fireball, for example, that's really good for StrifeCro.
He loses Faceless Manipulator.
That's
okay.
It's okay. Oh man.
I think now that he knows his opponent
That's-
plays like Rag and Sylvanas, he wants to keep Siphon Soul no matter what.
Lothar is the counter to Sludge Belcher.
Yes. 5/5 body goes kills off the Sludge Belcher and then some.
Oh, that's decent.
Yeah, nice little Twilight Drake coming down.
A little one, indeed.
Yeah, only 6 health.
That's perfect for a Fireball if you wanted to gain tempo, but
Oh man.
or actually no tempo.
It's a juicy
damage.
Fireball target.
It just lines up so perfectly.
Can also buff the
buff the
mana.
mana worm. Well, I don't see a much better play than that.
Yeah, that seems pretty good. And I would imagine he's going to kill the Belcher, right?
Yeah,
So
and you want to save Polymorph for like when you need to push through giants or just bigger threats than this 4/6.
Yeah.
Fireball's less flexible in that way, even though
Well-
you do use it for reach damage against handlock.
This Mortal Coil, I wouldn't be too surprised if we saw that go off. I think that's, even though that's like a great card to test for counter spells with, it's like, well, you have a 5/2 Lothar out here.
Yeah.
You don't, I mean, nothing here looks that good actually for...
But at the same time, then you can also use the Siphon Soul, because you wasted your Mortal Coil that tests Counterspell. You know?
That's true.
I think, even though it looks really bad for StrifeCro right now, like, after using Firebolts, the Warlock hero power will come into play. Like, if it goes to late game, I think the Warlock has a big advantage.
It's like you trade off that ability to remove for the Warlock's ability to draw cards because it equalizes the damage.
Oh, look at this.
That's a nice play.
Yeah.
He really wants to save the Mortal Coil for the Counterspell.
Yeah.
Or he doesn't.
Okay.
I mean, I think another card is valuable to him as
I guess that Lothar running into either of these dies anyways, and
Yep.
yeah, just cycle
True.
through another card.
And he hasn't seen like Flame Strike or Blizzard or any AoE.
Right.
Yeah, that's true.
That's very smart by
That's-
StrifeCro.
It's a safe assumption. I mean, you've seen 2 longer games with
Yeah.
this deck. You can assume.
That's actually very smart play by StrifeCro.
Yeah, it seems so.
Like
I definitely wouldn't have
Yeah,
done
it's
that, but
turn
that's
7 from Mage, and you don't
Right.
play around any AoE, so it's... There is the counter spell. You're not
Okay.
you don't want to Siphon Soul that now.
You
Well,
may
your
try.
play this turn feels weak. Otherwise, well, I guess you could test for Mirror Entity to start things off.
Yeah, I mean he can.
You
I
tap
think
first.
I think I would actually life tap into Siphon Soul because if that is duplicate, I actually don't mind you getting a bunch of
Yeah,
water
but you
elementals.
have to test first for it because Siphon Soul loses you so much tempo otherwise.
Thing is, if you test for the other one, then water elemental is going to get at least 2 cards, right?
If you
Well, I guess the
I mean,
slime
I
doesn't
think you're
really
okay.
count as a card.
if you Shadow Flame a minion, it will not get sacrificed when it gets countered, right?
Oh, that's true. If
I-
you try to Shadow Flame, it won't activate. You just lose that 1 extra mana compared to your opponent.
Okay.
So you protect. It's like a bluff. You know, you don't want to
yeah.
give up a strong minion, and you just try to get rid of counterspell. But that's a risk you have to take if it's calculated. You cannot do that blind. Like he tested for Mirror Entity just now, and now it's down to counterspell or duplicate. All right, Mad Scientist is pretty good too. I mean, the later the game goes, the worse Mad Scientist often becomes. You want to get it early as possible, but in this scenario, when the board hasn't developed much, Mad Scientist is still pretty powerful.
Yeah, I mean everything seems to be going fine still for Lothar. The hand of StrifeCro is not really that exciting. I think this is the turn where he goes for a Shadow Flame, though. That's for sure.
Oh man, he got also the Giant.
Yeah, I
He's-
guess he did test, and it's not the other.
Right.
Yeah, he's thinking about it.
And
for
he's
sure.
already seen a Fireball pop out. Not bad.
He's definitely thinking.
He's at 26 health. He's only tapped twice this game, which is hard to believe as hand like that. We were this late into the game, and
Yeah.
he's a reasonable sized hand, and he hasn't been tapping.
Yeah, and he's already forced 1 Fireball out. So
Yep. A silence on the Mad Scientist, by the way, is really clutch.
that would be cool. I would
yeah.
like that a lot, actually, now that you say that.
Yep.
Yeah, you want to deny that 3 mana, but more importantly, you just don't want any more secrets to come out here.
If it's duplicate, he's probably gonna attack the Loot Order.
Yeah. And then he gets confirmation that it's counterspell. He can play with that information. And then
Yeah.
that's not a great card to have at the moment.
No.
Mana Worm is one of the weaker cards you could have.
But he has the perfect answer for the Giant, so...
Yeah, that is a good thing, and he can even play the Sludge Belcher this turn with that. So, like, I guess he's
Touche.
still not right, but as you were saying, Gara, like, even though you just look at what's here and it looks kind of even maybe a little lead for StrifeCro, I feel like he is going to get way ahead. He's at 26
Yeah.
health, and he can just start life tapping now.
Yeah, exactly. He will just draw 2 cards every turn. He has 26 life. He used already Fireball and Frostbolt. I think StrifeCro is in a really good position.
Yeah.
Even though his Giant will get cheap this turn.
Yeah, like only 9 direct damage left. That's not so bad.
Yeah, well, and you know, Lothar hasn't been able to get any mileage off of any of his secrets. That's like the primary way to gain advantage with this deck. In fact, the only secret we've seen all game has been Counterspell. And then the Mad Scientist attempted to do something, and it can't.
I wanted to... yeah, I think Lothar is thinking about using the Mana Worm with the Sheep plus Ping, because otherwise he will not get any value out of the Mana Worm. If he plays the Sludge Belcher plus Sheep,
Oh, okay.
the
Yeah.
Mana Worm will be completely useless. Now he's, like, he can fight.
Oh,
the sheep.
I like that a lot.
Yeah.
He can fight the Sheep now.
It's no problem.
A sheep to fight
Now
off.
that sheep gets no real value.
Yeah. Until it gets Defender of Argist.
Ooh. Scary.
I mean,
That's a really good draw.
oh, yeah, Soulfire.
Yeah,
It doesn't discard anything, too,
And-
so it's just a pure 0 for 3
yeah,
mana-wise.
you don't lose mana as well. It's perfect.
Oh, it doesn't
Yeah.
discard.
You don't lose mana, you don't lose a card.
Yeah, it's perfect.
It's just a perfect anti
Yeah, that's pretty good, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, the
That's right.
the value.
Yeah, get him, sheep.
And he actually doesn't use it yet.
I mean,
He does know it's a counterspell, though. Yeah,
it's just a 2/3 mana worm right now.
yeah.
Famous last words.
Well, I mean, he knows it's a counterspell.
It's
Yes,
very
yeah.
interesting that he's if he draws a giant, so the giant is cheaper because
Yeah.
there's more cards in the hand, and he can't replay another counter spell.
And he might draw like a second Mortal Coil too, and be like, "Oh wait, I mean,
Yeah.
this is worthless."
Although Mortar Coil is more commonly cut, but you're absolutely right. Like,
Yeah.
he has a lot of options now that the Soulfire is being drawn. Good point, Gara. But still, he hasn't drawn anything he can do to the board at the moment.
Yeah, that's his hand is really.
Oh,
man.
boy, more spells. Has Lothar been played from Lothar, by the way?
No,
no,
not yet.
not yet.
That's a very valuable card against Handlock. All right. Well, now he gains back some life. Mage still hasn't threatened to kill him, so he still can tap.
Yeah,
and
look at
even
this.
Hellfire.
25 health. We're like
Right.
at 10 mana. He's got a lot of cards in hand. This board is very weak for the mage.
All right. Now that's a
That's a
good
good
card.
draw.
That's a good card.
For sure.
Another thing to point out, StrifeCro plays double Siphon Soul, which means he doesn't play Arcane Golem or Leroy.
Right.
This
No
is like the
finishers.
exactly, so he doesn't have burst damage, so he has to clear the board and stuff.
So if StrifeCro Hellfires, he will get, or Lothar will receive 2 Mana Worms if it's duplicate, right? Because
Oh,
right now StrifeCro doesn't know which secret
That's
this
a
is.
really good draw for StrifeCro, because now he can test Mirror Entity.
Yep. Test Mirror Entity and then see what it does and
Oh
evaluate.
man,
Just
if he plays Watcher, he can't play the Giant. So it's
yeah.
does he want to gamble?
I don't
No,
think
that's-
so.
That's not StrifeCro.
I don't think so. Like, I could see him even just baiting with that Hellfire in case
Yeah.
it's a counterspell.
Like you can
Oh,
play
man.
Hellfire first.
Because,
and
I mean,
then-
the worm is going to do 3 to you anyways. It's
Oh man!
There was
like,
a
ouch.
Oh boy!
What did you say? He's not gonna gamble.
Oh man! Wait, is that just game?
I'm a little bit surprised that
Oh
he did
my
that.
God, that's game! Is that?
Is it?
Yeah.
No, wait.
14,
11, 14,
14,
20.
18.
Yeah.
It's 19.
Let's see if he does it,
20.
though. I
20.
think he won't miss this
Are you
one.
serious? That's how the series ends?
If-
What?
It was such a good game.
Oh, it was so well played until that very moment.
Wow.
Oh my
We're actually
God.
watching Lothar go 3-0 against StrifeCro. What? That's crazy.
I can't believe it.
I'm baffled.
I mean, I got to call it a bit of an upset, but well played by
Wow.
Lothar.
Yeah, I mean, he played immaculately.